In 2018, Cam Newton and the Panthers were riding high after they went 11-5 the year before. Halfway through 2018, they were 6-2 and looked like on track to easily get at least a playoff appearance, but still competing for the NFC South and maybe the number 1 seed. However, after they got crushed by the Steelers on Thursday night, they went into a complete tailspin where they lost every single game but their season finale to finish 7-9. And that, by and large, would be the end of Cam Newton's time with the Panthers. He would suffer a season-ending injury 2 weeks into the next season, and then he would get cut afterwards. And that also began the end of Rivera's time next year as well. 2018 was like the last true time the Panthers were relevant, and they've never been the same ever since. And it all came back to not just that losing streak, but the fact that Cam Newton got injured during that Steelers game. So, what would happen if he didn't get injured? And not only that, would he keep the momentum up of that incredible start this season he was doing? We're about to find out. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if? An NFL theory. So for some context, in 2018, the first 8 games, the Panthers, like I said, were 6-2, and Cam Newton was having an incredible season. He was on track to potentially challenge his MVP season of 2015. The first 8 games of the year, he had 18 total touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, which is very impressive. But after that injury and that loss to Steelers, the last 8 games of the year where the Panthers went 1-7, he had 9 total touchdowns to 9 turnovers. So, horrible stretch to wrap up the year. So, we're going to say he's going to keep this momentum going in the final 8 games of the year, and he doesn't get injured. So, during this stretch, he's going to once again throw 18 touchdowns to 8 turnovers, which means at the end of the season, Cam would have 36 touchdowns to just 8 interceptions. What an incredible season that would be. But, would that be enough though? Because the Panthers were 7-9. Would that be enough for them to be in the playoffs and potentially still maybe challenge the Saints for the NFC South? Well, in the 7-game losing streak or whatever it was, the Cam in some of those games still was playing good, and they still lost. So it was a tough one to say. After comparing his stats to the games that in that 8-game stretch, instead of going 7-9, the Panthers would instead go 10-6. And here is the updated 2018 standings. That the AFC is completely messed up now, as because of this, the Saints fall to the number 3 seed. The Rams get the number 1 seed. The Bears move up to the number 2 seed. And the Panthers will make the final spot as the 6th seed. So, after just destroying the Saints the week before, the Panthers once again have to visit the Saints. As this would be a tough-fought game, Cam would be playing good, of course, and the Saints were struggling too after that 10-1 start. They were kind of reeling. But I still think the Saints would recover and prevent the Panthers' win. They would get the win to move on to the divisional round in a tough-fought game. But the Saints are going to have to visit the Bears. And as I said in a previous theory of mine, I think the Bears would beat the Saints if they face each other in the playoffs. And with the Saints out of the way, it'll open up the Super Bowl to be the Patriots and the Bears now. As I covered this a few years ago on what if Drew Brees signed with the Dolphins, in a bold take, I think the Bears would get this. As the Bears defense was better than the Rams, so they would shut down Brady and the offense just as well. And I know it's odd that Jared Goff did terrible against the Patriots, so why would Mitchell Trubisky win or do any better? But hey, that's the thing about if something not happen. I could think of whatever it would be instead. So I think the Bears would beat the Patriots, especially too. Don't forget the Bears almost beat the Patriots in the regular season on a Hail Mary catch. So yeah, I think they could beat them in the rematch. So you should be unhappy, Bears, that Cam got injured because he cost you a Super Bowl. But hey, it's just a theory, an NFL theory. Thanks for watching. As I continue on with these short theories. This is something I wanted to do when I thought about in 2018. I'm happy I could finally do it. Alright guys, see you all next time.